Aloha! We're live, Sherry.
Hey, everybody.
Awesome. So, welcome to Tough Talk 911.
Because it's an emergency.
Aloha. I am Jen.
And I'm Dr. Sherry. Hello, everybody.
And we're here to say
what you won't say.
That's why it's Tough Talk. So we are going to get into it today, Dr. Sherry. This is going to be really good. So we had a sound off topic, Sherry. What was that?
So the sound off topic was, let me see, is that my feedback? Okay, make sure we're good. Here we go. I have to turn that volume down. A woman's fiance cheats on her husband. A woman's fiance. No, let me start again. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a long weekend. Let me start again. A woman's fiance cheats on her. Got it straight now. She breaks up with him. What should she do with the ring?
Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys. So this question, I took it upon myself to post this on my Facebook page today to just kind of see where people were at. Greetings, Wilson, greetings. But just to see where people were at with this question. And OMG, it exploded. It exploded. So a lot of people have different opinions about what you should do with the ring. And so let me clarify. This is opinion only. I am not asking legally what needs to happen with the ring. So let's just clarify and get that out of the way, because I do know that legally, she will be forced to return it. If he asks for it, she'll need to return it. Okay, that's the law. Unless somebody did find a caveat to that, unless it was given on a holiday. Do you know that if it was given on a holiday, so you guys that think it's a great idea to propose on Christmas, beware, she can by law keep the ring as a gift. So
they want us to repeat the question. They want us to repeat the question.
Okay.
A woman's fiance cheats on her. She breaks up with him. What should she do with the ring?
Okay. So in your opinion, what would you do? What would you do? So that's kind of the question. What would you do? And I'm just going to throw it out there that in my case, unless he asked for it back or it was a family heirloom, I'm keeping that ring and I am going to sell it and I'm going on a girls' trip. That's what I would do. That's just me. So awesome. What about you guys? Pipe in here to these comments. Like, what would you do with the ring? What about you, Barry?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know of any woman that would give the ring back. I mean, I haven't met her yet.
I met people that say give it back. Like I had a lot of women say give it back. But in that moment, what's the truth? You see what I'm saying? That's like honest.
Yeah, I would not give it back though. No, because that's all my pain and suffering. That is all my pain and suffering that I've gone through. So that's the least I can do is keep that ring. And like you said, if I want to pawn it, go on a girls' trip or whatever I want to do with it. But no, that is mine. If it was given to me, it's mine. Period, point blank.
We are in agreement there. But I have to say, now, like looking back, maybe that would be something that, like, if you're not heated about it, maybe I'm gonna say, okay, maybe if you would give it back in that moment, you're a bigger person than I am. I can admit that because I would be pissed and I would keep it.
Yeah, but it was given to the fiance was given to the woman for the purpose of a marriage. The thing about it is that she didn't break the contract. You know, I'm in real estate, so I'm going to talk about this contract part. And I know you didn't want to go the legal route, but the thing is, she would not have broken what was set out for the relationship. It was he that did that. So she shouldn't be penalized in any type of way. And so she would be penalized and having to give it back. So
I agree with you, but I will say that, you know, I've had people like, and I've watched like judge, you know, like court shows, and by law, they would tell the woman to give it back. Like if he asked for it back, they would tell her to give it back. But this is my thing. If he doesn't ask for it back, I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it. And I'm not keeping it for the emotional thing, because you get these people that say things like, well, why would you keep that? That's just a memory of like him doing whatever. Well, I'm keeping it, and then I'm going to sell it. I'm just not giving it back to him. I might not keep it, but he ain't getting it back.
That's right. No, he shouldn't give it back. But, you know, we gave this topic about can a relationship really survive infidelity? You know, I've been thinking long and hard about that topic all week. And it's really a serious topic. It really is. Yeah, and it's a serious issue because it happens so much, for one. And it doesn't matter what stage you are in your relationship. You could just be high school boyfriend and girlfriend. You know, cheating at any level hurts. And I think we all can agree with that, you know. And so the question that we're posing today, and I know we just did a little sound off and we were, you know, kind of kidding around about it. But now thinking about all of us who have probably experienced, I haven't met anybody who has not experienced a hurt like that. But for people who have experienced that hurt, and probably they're watching us right now and still experiencing it, you always in your mind are thinking, can I ever get over this? And so today I know Jen and I are going to share, you know, some ways that you could possibly get over that situation. But we want you to really ask yourself today, can you really get over infidelity, cheating that has happened in your relationship? Where are you going with it, Jen? Because
I have to say, you know, in my opinion, I'm going to throw out my opinion. Can a relationship truly survive infidelity? And in my opinion, the answer is no. Yeah, no, I'm going to say, in my opinion, the answer is no. Now, you know, people might stay together after someone has cheated on the other person. But is that really, I don't know, is that surviving? Are you thriving? Maybe the question should be, can a relationship thrive after infidelity? Because I think people stay together. They might stay together, but there's always going to be that underlying trust issues. There are those things that you're like, well, you know, sometimes people feel that tit for tat. Well, they did it to me, so maybe I should do it to them to get back. So maybe I'll feel better. I don't know. It just opens up this whole can of worms. Don't you agree, Sherry?
Yeah. And that tit for tat, I mean, that's definitely not getting over it. What you're doing, you're just prolonging the pain on both sides. You know,
I agree.
Here's someone, let's read what this comment is from James Bundy. Hi, James. He says, that's cheap and petty to me. That's just a get back for being hurt. Give it back. Oh, he's on the ring now. Give it back. Okay. It's hers. If the agreement is broken and on the surface the relationship can be mended, but underneath it's never forgotten and it never gets better. Wow. Well, James, I'm just going to have to be petty because he ain't getting my ring back.
Yeah, I agree. It can be petty. And again, like I said, in my case, if he asks for it back, I will respect his wishes and I will give it back to him because I am bigger than that. But first things first, yeah, I'm going to be petty. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to sell it. If he doesn't ask for it back and it's not a family heirloom, I'm going to take that moment to be petty. That's my right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. A family heirloom or not, you're not getting that ring back. No pain and suffering. Wilson had a comment. He said, if you hammer and nail into a piece of wood and then extract the nail and fill the hole with filler, a hole is actually still there. Wow.
That is true. That is true, Wilson. That hole is always there, isn't it? Even if you filled it with something else, the hole is already there. And so, Sherry, that's the thing with infidelity, right? In relationships, it happened. And it's really hard for people to get over that in a relationship.
Well, it hurts. When you have put out your heart and your soul and your spirit to someone, and you're thinking that you're sharing things that's just between you two, and then you find out that that is being shared with someone else, it's a pain that you can't even reach. It's a pain that you can't even understand. And that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what level you are in relationship. And I mean this because I'm thinking about, my relationships when I was in high school. I'm thinking about my relationships when I was in college. And I'm thinking about my relationship when I was married. Infidelity happened at all of those stages. And the pain was the same. The pain was the same. But when you really think about cheating, you really have to ask yourself, why do they cheat? Does it really have something to do with you, or is it something that has to do only with them? And that's where you have to get in your mind to understand. Is it something that you have done?
Well, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because I have to tell you, I'm going to be transparent. Hey, Pepper, I'm going to be transparent. I have been cheated on, and I have cheated. Okay? I have been on both sides of this equation, and I can tell you that it has to do with both people. Okay. It's never any one person's fault. The cheater, what happens is when a person cheats, they feel justified in their cheating. They believe that they have a reason to cheat, right? So they make justification as to why they're not doing it. Somebody approached me earlier with the question, if a spouse is withholding affection from you, do you feel like what is somebody's recourse for that? Well, first of all, if that's happening, I'm sorry. What is the issue that they're withholding affection from you? That's first off, that needs to be discussed, right, Sherry?
Right.
And then secondly, that doesn't make it okay for you to cheat unless you talk to your spouse and you're like, okay, so this is the situation. I'm not sure why you're withholding affection from me, but I love you and respect you, but I have a need. Can we come to some kind of agreement? Maybe you need to have an arrangement that you talk about and you're like, okay, is it okay for me to seek this elsewhere since you don't want to? I know that might be hard for people to hear, but when you talk about that as grown-ups and it's part of your conversation with your spouse, then that's no longer cheating. If she's like, okay, I don't want to give it to you. I love you. I want to stay together. Let's have an open relationship. That's completely different. But there's a conversation there. You're not sneaking around cheating on her. So that's not something I would do, but I'm just saying, frankly, people do different things and that's their choice, but don't cheat on somebody. It doesn't.
We have a few comments here. So let everybody pipe in. James says, I asked for mine. James is on this ring. James is not playing about this ring. Do you hear me? He is not playing. He said, I asked for mine back during the engagement breakup and she gave it back. And my first wife said I didn't have to go back and look for another ring. She thought the ring was so nice, she wanted that one.
He recycled it. Good for you, James.
And I wound up marrying the first one I brought the original engagement ring for. Oh my God. Wilson has a comment. He says, this is my field. The reason why people stay together in successful relationships is because they are meeting their emotional needs, of which we have 6 universal needs. If we are meeting 2 of 3, which we value the same, then the relationship will be successful. If there is an imbalance in how those needs are being met, both by both parties in a relationship, then something is missing. And one partner will go off and try and get those needs met externally from that relationship. Wow. Wilson said that is his alley. He said, this is my field right here. I know what I'm talking about. I agree with that. I actually, believe it or not, I actually agree with James a little bit, how he just phrased that. But that's crazy. He went back and married the first.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
But I agree with Wilson about that when he's talking about meeting those emotional needs. I actually think it goes even deeper than that. I think it goes to making sure, well, it goes back to what we talked about last week. We were talking about making sure you're full within yourself and not being half-baked going into a relationship. Because if you're half-baked, if you're not full, if you're not complete within yourself, and my thing is, how do you know when you're complete? When you know your purpose. When I ask people, do you know your purpose? If you can't answer that, if you can't understand why you're even here, you shouldn't be linking up with anybody, because that to me, that is a recipe for disaster. To me, it is, because you're forever searching. You're forever searching. So now what you're doing is you're looking to this person now to fill you and try to find out, is my purpose in this person? And the answer is no. Your purpose is never in someone else, because the purpose is within. And when I find it now, and if I connect with somebody who knows their person, that's where I agree with Wilson. Now we can do some things. We can make magic happen.
Absolutely. You know what? It really does come down to that. When you think about people's infidelity, a lot of times when people are not faithful, it is because they're seeking something else. And I want to put this comment up here. So Avita says a lot of time cheating is because that person has a fear of missing out. So they satisfy their desire. And that is true. But you know what? The thing is that why they have a fear of missing out, it goes back to what Sherry says. When you have that fear of missing out, it's because you're still seeking. You're not happy in and of yourself. So you're still seeking. So when you have that seeking mentality, like you're trying to find happiness in someone else, right? Instead of being a whole person and bringing your whole self to a relationship, right? And expecting someone else to bring their whole self to a relationship, you are seeking happiness in someone else. And when you are seeking, what you find yourself doing is looking for the next best thing.
Yes.
Okay? When you are seeking happiness in someone else, you're looking for someone else to make you happy, you will continue to look for the next best thing. And that is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it really is. Jen, before we go on a little bit, we have another comment. Go ahead.
James says, if you're in a relationship and you have any doubt, which I did in both marriages, and I can relate, I'm still searching and I'm never completely fulfilled. It's something wrong with me. I guess I'm not ever satisfied. I guess I'm not completely happy with me. Bam, James. That was tough. That was tough talk, but you do need to, like, when it keeps happening, we have to then ask ourselves, are they the problem or am I the problem? And that was powerful for you to say, I'm going to say, there's nothing wrong with you. So let's clarify. There's nothing wrong with you, James. But what needs to happen, right, is that you do need to search inward, okay, and feel fulfilled in and of James. Find what fulfills you and makes you feel whole.
Exactly. Wow. That was deep. And that's tough talk. Like we talk, like we're always saying, people have to be able to really handle these conversations. And the thing about it is that this is something you can't shy away from, because you can keep shying away from having hard conversations. And you can keep trying to ignore relationships that aren't working. And what you're doing is you're moving closer and closer to the grave. That's what's happening with an unfulfilled. Right. Do you know how many people are in a cemetery right now who have lived unfulfilled lives? You know, I'm gonna tell this story. Lord, I hope my mother doesn't get upset with me, but I want to tell it because it's kind of where we are right now in understanding why every day is so important. But my grandmother and my grandfather, they divorced. And on my grandfather remarried. But on his deathbed, he asked for my grandmother to be there. And do you know he told her that he always loved her? And it made me so sad. You know, my mother told that story that, you know, how they had connected and he was, a couple hours away from dying, but they had connected. And it made me sad because it made me think about what if he had the courage and could have put down his pride to tell her he loved her all of those years, you know, that they had been divorced? Did it have to come to a deathbed for you to finally tell her that you loved her and you've always loved her? And so I'm saying that to the people that's, you know, watching us right now, Jen, is it going to take a lifetime for you guys or a tragic situation for you to tell someone how much you love them? Because I know a lot of situations that have broke up because of cheating, because of pride, and all of the above. You know, and it really goes back to what we're saying. It comes a point we have to man up and woman up. You know, we have to put on our big pants, okay, and really begin to proceed in life like responsible adults. And not say and do things that hurt each other, not say and do things that humiliate each other, not say and do things that, you know, as far as breaking trust and not believing in one another. And it goes back to what Jen and I continuously say. It starts within. It starts with here. If you're not complete within, if you're not complete in here, it could be disastrous, not just for you, but for the one that you're in relation with and the family. I mean, you can't leave those out either, Jen. The family gets affected by all these relationships that's blowing up here and there.
They absolutely do. They absolutely do. It's more than just about us. But the core of it, like you said, is you got to start with you. So, you know, in relationships, we have to take care that we are respecting one another in a way that we want to be respected, treating each other like we want to be treated. And so, you know, like I said before, I've been a cheater. I've been cheated on. Okay. So there is an expectation. If I would willingly carry myself in that manner, then I can't expect that someone else won't. Okay. But if I can internalize, look inward and go, okay, what was it? Why would I do that? Why did I do that? Is there an expectation that I don't want somebody to cheat on me, so I won't cheat on them? I want to be treated a certain way. So golden rule, people, if we can live our life with the golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated. Okay. That is a number one. And a lot of these problems would go away, right?
Yeah.
Do you want somebody cheating on you? The answer is no. So don't cheat on them.
But you know what, Jen? We say that, but some can't digest it. Some don't. They don't see it as it being that easy. You know, they just don't. But we have some solutions here, and believe it or not, our time is we're almost halfway out of here. And so I want to, and don't forget, you guys follow us on all social media, and we have a Cash App. I think Jen has to make.
I forgot to put our banner up.
But follow us on all social media, okay? And we're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook group, and Facebook page. And of course, please subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're starting to get those likes up. We're trying to get to 100, okay? But let's talk about some solutions now, because I will tell you this. The longer a person stays in a cheating mindset, what you're doing is that you are cutting time off of your own life. That's really what you're doing. You're cutting time off of you really fulfilling who you are, because every time you hurt, and I believe this, Jen, I believe in you reap what you sow. I mean, I believe it. I believe believe that those seeds that you put out there, they come back. But the thing about it is that they come back in different ways. So just because you put out a seed that you're a cheater, it doesn't mean that somebody's going to cheat on you. You may experience something whereas you're forever in poverty. Or you maybe experience something whereas you'll never really have that self-esteem about yourself. Or you may experience something where you'll never be able to have the career that you want. Might not be able to have children. You can experience reaping in different ways. Because what happens is that what you put out in the atmosphere, it does come back to you. You have to understand that. The seeds that you plant, either they're coming up flowers or they're going to come up weeds. You have to decide, what do you want to come back? And for people that don't believe that, those are the ones that's kind of spiraling in life. They can't ever get out that spiral. But here we go. I took some notes as usual. Okay, so first of all, how do you survive a relationship that has experienced infidelity, cheating? Okay, first of all, you have to forgive with intelligence. And that one right there, I had to really ponder, just trying to understand, because people always say forgive. But forgiving with intelligence is different, because in your mind, you have to realize, is this person capable of not cheating? I can forgive you for the act, but I got to really think where we are in this relationship. Are you capable of doing better? And how do you figure that out? You look at the actions of the person. You look and see how they act in their own life. You see how they behave in other relationships. And I'm not talking about relationships that they're tied to romantically, just period. How do they carry themselves? Are they truthful with other people? Are they lying to other people? Just basic things. How do you carry yourself on a daily basis? So yes, you should forgive infidelity if you're in a relationship, but you have to forgive with intelligence. And what does that mean? You have to really ask yourself, the person that I'm connected with, is this something I'm experiencing over and over and over again? Because there's seasonal cheaters, right, Jen? Did you know that?
No, I mean, not specifically, no.
So let me tell you what a seasonal cheater is. A seasonal cheater, they always want to be connected to someone around a holiday. So they'll look at Valentine's Day. Valentine's is a big boy. And believe it or not, Christmas. Christmas is another seasonal connection, and then New Year's. So those are people who just, in their mind, they're saying, I'm not going to be by myself, or if I'm not making it in a relationship that I'm in, I'm going to find somebody else to be happy with. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. Yeah, that's kind of kooky. So, I mean, if they're not in a relationship, then they're not really cheating, are they?
No, they could be in a relationship. They're not happy in a relationship.
Oh, okay.
So with someone that they're happy with.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Because they want to be happy around this holiday season. That's the key there. And so they want to yearn for this happiness no matter who they have to hurt. But again, if you're having problems and issues in a relationship, some people use that as a cop-out. They don't want to deal with the problems and the issues. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kick you over to the curb, and I'm just going to get with somebody who makes me happy. But they don't really know.
Again, that is that justification. That's them justifying why they're cheating, and it's never right. It's never the right thing to do. And I'm going to ask you this, and I know that you took notes and stuff, Sherry, but and some people will say once a cheater, always a cheater. And I know that that's not true. Because like I said, I've been in relationships where I was unfaithful. I am now in a relationship that meets all of my needs. I kind of came to the table, whole, right? My partner came whole. And Wilson, it's exactly like Wilson said, we came together, we have those things, a lot of things in common. And I would never in a million years even consider cheating on my spouse, but I have before. See, so I'm of the belief that once a cheater, always a cheater is not a true statement. So just saying.
Yeah, and that's why you have to know to forgive with intelligence. This is what I'm talking about. You have to forgive. And when I say intelligence, you have to think through and really be able to digest, who is this person I'm connected with? Really, who are they? What are they doing? What is their systematic relationships like? What are their systematic behaviors like? What are their systematic behaviors like with me? Are we constantly fighting? Or is there constantly a problem? Is there constantly an issue? Are you constantly saying you don't trust me? Somebody displaying a narcissist behavior. That's a whole nother. Whew, we got to do
those relationships, don't warrant cheating. They warrant getting the heck out. You see what I'm saying? Like that's like, okay, get out. But I think what happens is people cheat because they want to hold on to something, right? And then have something on the side. So cheating is very selfish action, because you're being sneaky, you're sneaking around, you're doing this on the side because you want to be satisfied on all fronts. So you keep this person hanging on and you cheat on them. It's pretty shady behavior. And again, I can say it from both sides. When I was being a cheater, that was very narcissistic, Sherry. It's very narcissistic behavior, because it's like, oh, well, I deserve to have this, and because you're not giving me what I want, then I have the right to look for it elsewhere.
Right. We got several comments that I want to post up. Daniel Smith says, if cheating can be defined, would women understand why men do it? But Daniel, some women cheat too. So
I just said so, right? I just said so. I cheated. Yeah. I was a cheater.
Yes. I think being defined is, once again, it goes back to what we keep saying over and over and over again. It's who you are. It's this space in here. You have anything you want to say, Jen? I'll pop up another one.
Yeah, I just popped up Pashia's.
Okay.
If you feel the need to cheat, then why even be in a committed relationship? Bam. Yes, that's true. Why even be in a committed relationship? And you nailed it on the head. And just like I said, it's a very selfish behavior to be a cheater, right? Because you want to be like, oh, I'm in a committed relationship. Look at me over here. You like, hey, how you doing? Right? So it's that have your cake and eat it too mentality.
Exactly. Especially, you know what? It could be that they are in a relationship where they're very comfortable. Maybe they have the house, the kids, the dog, the vacations, all of that. They want that life. They want that comfortable life. But at the same time, they want this sex fling happening over here. And it goes back again, what we keep saying over and over and over again. I see Daniel has a comment. He says, sure would like to find a lady where we meet each other's needs. Oh, Daniel. What's your number?
It's out there. She's out there. Daniel, believe that she's out there. You know what? I cannot tell you enough that things like that, it really is. It's belief. It's your belief. You have to believe that she exists, because when you believe she exists, you will find her. So, keep looking, keep looking.
I agree. So I got some friends I can pair it with Daniel. He looks like he feels like he has a sincere heart. And that's what so many women are looking for. That, listen, it's a lot of decent women out here. A lot of decent women can connect with someone who really has that heart and spirit. All right, so let's see. That. James has a couple comments. He says, but I get a certain satisfaction from all three, and they all know about each other and accept this behavior, which I never would. What behavior? Did I miss something?
Oh, yeah. So James back here said, he said something about having multiple like relationships or something like that. It was here someplace, but he's saying, he he basically is in a relationship. All the women know about each other and they're okay with it. And he said he would not tolerate that, right?
He said he keeps them satisfied on their level. Oh my God!
There you go.
Oh, James.
Well, James, hey, you know what? If you can have if you can have women that they tolerate that, see, it's all about what you'll tolerate, right? What behavior tolerate. And you just said, I would never tolerate that. Like, so you're like, hey, if a woman wants to date me, she dates me. I ain't letting her date other guys because that's not my scene, right? But if that's the behavior that they'll accept, then I say more power to you, James. More power to you.
And it goes back again, yourself, oh my goodness. Let's look up, let's go to the next point. You have to figure out kind of the reason why someone is cheating. And that's another one of those areas where, as you're saying, well, how am I going to do that? Again, remember I was telling you, forgive with intelligence. It seems like if you're in a relationship with someone that is a cheater or you are the cheater, it seems like there is a level of intelligence that has to be connected with your heart. And it seems like you might have the intelligence to be shady and have all these relationships where no one knows about each other, because it takes a lot of smarts to do that. Okay. I mean, it really does. I mean, it's some men or women, they could cheat and no one could ever find out anything for years. Okay. But at the same time, you have to begin to try that spirit by that spirit. Even though you might not see any physical evidence, a lot of times people have to tap into their intuition. They have to tap into what they're feeling in a relationship. And so even though you might not see the evidence, you could possibly feel it, and you still got to figure out, why are we experiencing this? Why are we going through this? Why aren't we satisfied with each other? And this is the tough talk that people don't want to deal with that. They don't want to talk about it. They want to ignore like it's not happening. It's happening. Figure out why they are doing it. Have, again, this very adult conversation. And if the person can't identify why I think that's the biggest cop-out when you say, why did you do that? And the response is, I don't know. What the hell?
You know. So let me say this. This is why I say, in my opinion, that relationships can't survive infidelity. Because if you are in a relationship where infidelity can grow, then there's something very wrong with the relationship. And it's not even about coming back after the infidelity. It's about what, like you said, why? Why did you cheat? Why did I cheat? Why did I cheat, Daniel? First of all, I was very immature. I was self-centered. I didn't feel like I was getting what I needed in the relationship. I felt hurt. I was young. I was stupid. I was selfish. The list goes on and on and on and on. But as we grow as adults and we enter into relationships and we have grown as people and we love ourselves and we know ourselves, I literally am a different person now than I was then. Okay. So I am no longer that person. And that's what life is. And that's why I can honestly say that term, once a cheater, always a cheater, is not true. That is, when you say that, you are literally telling people that you can never be anything other than what you are in this moment. And that is not true.
That's not true. I agree.
Our lives growing, always growing. Okay. And as you have life experiences, you change, your outlook changes, the things that you would do change. So, and Pasha, I think women who cheat and men who cheat deserve each other. Well, we are different people with different people too. We forget that, is that when we come together as wholes, like Sherry says, that's what we have to do. But when you come together as wholes with somebody who you connect with on many levels, like Wilson mentioned, right? On the levels where you need to connect, those things don't even enter your mind. Like literally, I would bet my life that my husband would never cheat on me. That's how confident I am in my relationship. And I can tell you right now, I would never cheat on my husband. But that's the space that I've come to. That's the growth that I've had over the years. I couldn't say that 20 years ago.
Jen, I want to respond to that, because I do feel as though that people go through different seasons in their life. You know,
of course we do.
And I feel like they go through this different seasons. So I know that right now, today, you know, the confidence that's coming forth, that's where you are right now. But just in the time that I have lived, life has done this, just constantly have done this, you know, up and down. And I'm going to tell you that I've had a few experiences that have kind of altered my behaviors in life. One major thing being the death of my father. It kind of removed me from society, and it kind of removed me emotionally, you know. And so my thing, what I'm saying that to say this, you have to be able to roll with those mountaintops and those valleys in your life. And if you're not with someone who is kind of understanding of those spaces that you will go through, those up and down moments, if you're not with someone who's understanding of that and not attached to the problem or the issue, it could be disastrous. So yes, relationships are beautiful when everybody is here, when everybody's up, right? But when one person comes down, and if this person does not know how to assist them when they're down, that is this is another prescription for disaster. This is a recipe for disaster. So I'm telling this to the audience as well, as your life does this, because it's going to do this. I mean, constantly. You're happy today, you may not be happy tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen. But believe this, everybody is on a journey where you have to have those ups and those downs, because that's how your soul grows. That's where your soul growth comes from. And so that's why I'm going back to my first thing when I say you have to be able to be intelligent and understanding where you are in your relationship and forgiving someone that's a cheater. You got to think this thing through and use your intuition and say to yourself, is this person really capable? Are they capable of being faithful to me? You know, are they really sincere in their heart and being faithful? And you know, the thing about it is that everybody knows the answer. Everybody knows the answer. You know if you're connected to a fool. You know it. You know if you're connected to a cheater. And how this is, I'm going to my last point, and this is going to close this out, and I'm going to throw it back to Jen. Communication. If you're with someone and y'all can't even communicate about the cheating, if you can't even talk about the cheating, if they are using a dismissive manner with you constantly, you know, that I don't know why I did, or never wanting to talk about why they cheated, that's a red flag right there. That's showing right now they don't want you to come into their space of what they've done, because it might be some things that they're still trying to keep hidden that they may try again later on. And I'm telling you, you got to really look at that. Forgiving with intelligence, understanding that, figuring out why somebody is cheating, and then understanding that communication is key. If you can't talk about it, then that's already a big red flag.
Okay, so yes, I agree with you wholehearted. So Pasha says the lack of honesty and communication prevents your partner to know when you are up or down. So therefore makes it difficult to meet a need that hasn't been communicated.
That's right.
Communication is key. Communication is key in all of this, right? Like the thing is that when you get into a relationship, and what I've noticed, and I can just say this from experience, when I got into the relationships that I was, the one relationship that I was in that I was unfaithful in, from the beginning, I didn't communicate in a way that was truthful to me and who I was as a person. Okay. And I don't know if anybody else is guilty of this or has seen this, but sometimes when we get into relationship, we become what we think someone wants us to be.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if any of you ever saw the movie Runaway Bride. There was a scene where, you know, she just run off. And she actually had a moment where somebody asks her, and this was in all of her relationships, how do you like your eggs? And she honestly would just latch on to how they liked their eggs. She never knew how she liked her eggs. So in every relationship, she was just like, if they liked them scrambled, she said she liked them scrambled. If they liked them poached, she liked them poached. If they liked eggs Benedict, she liked eggs Benedict. And we are guilty. A lot of us are guilty of doing that because we don't know for ourselves what it is that we like, what we want, who we are. So we conform to what someone else wants and likes. Okay. And when you do this, and you start having this awareness that you're like, wow, I wasn't honest in the beginning of this relationship with who I am, what I want. And that's misleading to the other partner. And that right there is where the communication problems start, because you don't know for yourself. So you just agree.
Right. I'm going to switch gears for just a minute, because I know we've been talking about, you know, the cheater and, you know, things you need to do to come out the relationship. But I want to talk about people who have cheated repeatedly, just for a second. Okay. And those that have really been the cheaters, that have really thrown the daggers, that have really hurt so many people, you know, repeatedly. You know, you're leaving one relationship and you're doing the same thing in every last relationship. You're leaving trails of blood. You're leaving trails of hurt. You're leaving trails of pain. There's a scene out The Color Purple, and you know I kid about this scene a lot, but in this instance I'm taking it very seriously, because I really feel the words when Miss Silly tells Master. This is that last dinner. You remember that last scene when they had that last dinner when she's all dressed up and she's ready to go with Shug and Shug's husband or fiance, whatever. And at that last dinner, when she took that knife to Mr. She called Mr. She took that knife to Mr. and she chased him outside and on those steps, and she said, "Nothing's gonna go right for you until you do right by me." Mm-hmm. So I said that to say this: for those that have left trails of pain, hurt, of cheating from one relationship to another, nothing's gonna go right for you until you do right by them. So what does that mean? It may mean you have to send an apology. It may mean that you have to really do some internal work to understand, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep living this way. You know, I can't keep involving myself in relationship. And then, you know, you have those that play the little games that, well, we're not going to ever say that we're connected. You know, I'm not going to ever say that I'm really with you. We're never going to make that statement. But you know, it's just something in your heart that you notice when you're connected to someone. And that's what I'm saying. It's such a very thin line to, you know, get emotionally tied to someone, because you don't have to say it, or you can say it and you still feel that yearning that I don't want this person that I'm emotionally and physically connected with to be with someone else. I see we got a whole lot popping in here. What are they?
I know. Hi, Trevor. How are you? Thanks for joining us. And, you know, Allie, you've been guilty of that. So the whole eggs, I think that you're probably talking about the whole egg scenario, about that being somebody that, you know, that just kind of goes with the flow. And then by the time, you know, you're mid-relationship, you're like, wait a minute, like our communication is nil. I never say, I never said I don't like this or I like this or I want that or whatever. I'm just saying we can set ourselves up for, not kind of knowing who we are. And because we're not whole, we're kind of setting ourselves up in those relationships. And Sherry, what you said about that whole, you need to do right by the person. Like if this is a continuing behavior by a certain person and they get in relationships and they cheat and they get in a relationship and they cheat and they get in a relationship and they cheat, clearly they have issues they need to take care of. And yes, absolutely. I do feel like they need to apologize to the person, but let's be honest, they're not going to apologize to that person if they continue, right? They're continuing that behavior because in their mind, they don't see anything wrong with it.
And you know what? And it goes back to what we said earlier. Those are the kind of people that end up in that graveyard and never would have fulfilled their life. Because it's going to catch up with you. It will catch up with you. Even like going back to the example I gave with my own grandparents. My grandfather lived his whole life, and on your deathbed, you're going to tell my grandmother how much you've loved her and you always loved her. After all of the hurt and pain that you had to experience, pride, ego. We got to be, because at the end of the day, it catches up with you. You know why? Because we all have the same ending journey. The ending journey is our death. You got to decide what that dash in between, that born year and that death date, that born date and that death date. You got to decide what that dash, what you're going to do with it.
Absolutely.
So you spend your whole dash BSing people, hurting people, bringing pain upon people, and you think you're going to escape this life and not get that back to you, you're crazy. You're crazy.
Yeah, no, it does come back. Yeah, it does. It's going to come back for sure. For sure.
Everything that we do, we're going to be held accountable. We're going to be held accountable by the things that we say to hurt people. We're going to be held accountable for the things that we do. And so what Jen and I are saying is it's just time for all of us to have the tough talk with ourselves and grow up.
Absolutely. And let's be clear. You can change, right? Because that's what life is about. It's about change. It's about growth. This, what she's talking about, that dash, if you spend your whole life doing that, hurting people, you don't grow from the mistakes that you've made. And sadly, there are a lot of people that live their life that way. They never look in the mirror and look at themselves as the problem. Right? They never look at themselves as the problem. They are too busy placing blame on other people. Oh, well, she didn't want to give me what I wanted in the relationship. She this, she that, he this, he that. And then what they do is they get a victim mentality and then they justify their bad behavior by blaming someone else. Okay. Right. And there are people that will live their whole life that way. Okay. What I'm saying to you is, don't do that. If you have experienced those kinds of things, no matter what side of the coin you're on, whether you've been someone who has been cheated on, kind of now your eyes are open as to what things to look out for so that you don't pick another cheater. Okay. And if you are somebody who has done the cheating, hopefully you realize that it was very immature. It was hurtful. You left a trail of broken hearts, maybe. And you can grow from that and learn from that and not carry on in that fashion. And ultimately, that's what we all want, right? We want to grow and become better people so that dash in the middle is spectacular. We all have our moments, but for the most part, like I'm proud to say that, I think that I've grown as a person. Okay. And I would never do that to anyone. Okay. I would never do that to anyone.
And if they do, they're gonna have a Miss Silly with that knife saying, "Until you do right by me, nothing you do is gonna work." Jen, we're down to the last few minutes, and you guys, I must be honest. We have no idea what our topic's going to be for next week because Jen and I have been crazy like all get out. We haven't had a chance to talk.
Right, we haven't talked about that. Yeah, we'll have to get on that. But you guys stay with us. Keep an eye out. We will announce it probably midweek, at least what we're going to talk about for next week. We'll come up with a sound off topic related to our show for next week. Yeah, let's do it. We'll have to think on that one, Sherry.
Well, we have a laundry list of topics. We just got to pull and see which one is great for next week. But trust me, we have topics. We just got to decide which one we're going to pull from. But hopefully we'll be able to connect and then let you guys know real soon. Jen, it was good seeing you again in Hawaii.
Well, thank you. So I'm so excited that everyone joined us. This was a really good Tough Talk 911 today. I love that.
And don't forget to follow us on all social media, you guys, and go subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. We're trying to get our first 100.
Sounds good. All right, you guys, we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
And listen, and if you don't do anything else, remember Miss Silly with that knife until you do that.
Sherry is stuck on that. She is stuck on that.
You know, I can do the whole thing. Wait a minute, I got one more for you. Hello, who's this woman? Did you hear
me? Yes.
Bye, you guys. We love you so much. Bye.
Bye.